What is the best camera for vlogging and photography? Is it the Sony a6400? Well, let's find out. Hey, what's happening YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna do things a little differently. Apart from building PC, I am also in love with photography. So I sold my old Nikon DSLR camera and used that money to purchase this mirrorless camera from Sony. Now I've been using this camera for about a week now, and I gotta say I'm very happy with the purchase. It's the Sony a6400. Now I know it's not the latest and the greatest in the world of mirrorless cameras out there, but you gotta check the specs on this baby and what can it actually do. So I paid 56,000 pesos for this purchase. Now with that amount, they gave me a tripod, a mic, and an SD card from Sony, which apparently doesn't work in 4K because in 4K, basically the camera is writing 100 MB of data to the card every second, and this card, it just can't keep up. It just can't. Basically, the camera will tell you to get a better card if you put this in. So I slapped a SanDisk drive in here, and it's working well. Now I'm sure there are better deals online for this camera. You can get this camera for the body only, 46,000 pesos and 52,000 pesos with a kit lens. But the problem is the seller is not from the Philippines, so I don't want to have any trouble claiming warranty in case I need to. And based on reliable sources, online sellers only carry 1-year warranty, even though it says 3 years on the box. I don't know. Nabudol ba ako? So I got this camera from Camera House in Glorieta 2 for again 56,000 pesos with a 3-year warranty. So let's get to the camera, shall we? First, we have a 24.2 megapixel sensor. Karlo, luma na yan. Okay, 6,000 pa lang. Gamit yung sensor na yan eh. That's true. It's the same sensor, but this sensor is paired with the new image processor, the Bayon's X image processor, which is more efficient and basically it's faster than its predecessor. Now, Sony claims this can acquire focus in 0.02 of a second along with 425 face detection points. It's also contrast detection points spread out all throughout the sensor, which covers approximately 90% of the sensor. Now my old DSLR, the Nikon DSLR 7200, well, it only has 51 focus points and mostly they're cramped in the middle of the sensor or near it. So you really have to recompose every time you use that camera. This also has a real-time eye autofocus as well as real-time tracking. You can see how it tracks the subject's eye even at low light, and even if the subject exits and re-enter the frame, it's still tracking it. Usually this feature is only found in high-end Sony full-frame cameras. Honestly, it's like dark magic. I don't know how to do it. They should call it voodoo focus tracking. Now this can also do 11 FPS burst shooting. So if you want to know how it sounds like this. Awesome, right? Now my old Nikon DSLR, it can only do 6 frames a second and it has a buffer of 18 shots before it slows down. Now this one, it can actually do around 80 to 90 shots before it slows down. So you can use this for sports photography as well. And you can imagine my surprise when I started shooting bursts. I was amazed. But what really got me interested is the flip-up screen. Check this out. So not only this is going to be good for photography, but it's going to be great for vlogging as well. You know, people really like looking at their faces when they're vlogging. So let's head outside and let's do a vlogging test with this camera. Vlogging test on the Sony a6400. Right now I'm shooting at 4K 30 frames per second. Shutter speed is at 1/60th of a second, f3.5. Asensya na, maraming background noises. Hopefully you can hear me without the external mic plugged in. Vlogging test on the Sony a6400. Right now it's 1080p at 60 frames per second. How does the audio sound, guys? I don't have any lav mic right now, so it's recording straight from the camera. Hopefully you can hear me. Vlogging test on the Sony a6400. Right now I'm using a lav mic, and don't worry about the video okay in the background. Tell me how the audio sounds, guys. Now the screen also allows you to get better composition for your shots. You can tilt it upwards, so you don't have to stick your head to the ground to get that extremely difficult low angle shots. And if you're shooting from like a crowd from up above, you can tilt the screen like that, so you can get better composition for your photos or videos. And as for videos, the Sony a6400 can do 4K at 30 frames per second, 1080p at 24, 30, 60, and up to 120 FPS. I normally just shoot at 4K 30 to get that cinematic look, I think. But for that slow-mo video, if I really want to get that butter smooth slow-mo effect, I use 1080p at 120 FPS. Now, these kids are not paid in making this video, but I am providing them food, shelter, and I'm sending them to school. So do not report me to any child welfare agencies. This is not child labor, okay? Now, there is a major design flaw with the screen. If you're using a mic or any hot shoe attachment, if you flip it up, well, you can't see your face. But the good thing is, there's an easy fix for this. You can get a cage. If you have a cage, then you can move the mic or any attachment that you have. You can move it to the right side of the camera so you can see your face again. Yay! Also with the cage, you get that professional look. Uy, may cage! Professional yan! So is the Sony a6400 the best camera for both vlogging and photography? Well, for photography, yes, absolutely. I love how it performs in low light. I love how the autofocus works. I like the fact that even if the subject exits a frame that re-enters it, it can still track it. And the eye autofocus also works well. I just want to try it on a prime lens though, because right now I'm using kit lens. It's 16 to 50 millimeter, 3.5 to 5.6 aperture, so it will slow down this camera a bit. Hopefully in the coming months I can try a prime lens for this one, and let's see what we can do. For photography, it's okay. It's good. It's perfect, near perfect. This camera's great. But for vlogging, not sure, because it's pretty good, but it's not perfect. Because for one, you need to get a cage, you need to get an L bracket so you can put in your mic. Otherwise, you're going to be forced to use the internal audio from this camera. By the way, I just noticed that this thing rattled, so I'm going to have to remove this clip. Because if you're vlogging, you don't want any rattling sound in your audio. Anyway, getting back to the camera. 4K 30 looks absolutely amazing. The 1080p at 120 frames per second looks super cool. But this thing does not have image stabilization, so expect, shaky footage for your vlog, and that's an extra workload in post, right? So if you want to get a good camera with a good image stabilization, I suggest the GoPro Hero 8 Black. That thing, it has an amazing image stabilization as well as decent footage as well. Although, sure, it's waterproof. You can do whatever you want with it. But you will lose that depth of field. So you're going to lose the background blur that you're used to seeing in DSLRs and mirrorless cameras. So if you want to keep that depth of field, that background blur, I also suggest the Canon M50. That camera is also amazing. It's cheaper than the a6400, so you can buy that, and the extra money you get, you can buy, a good lens for that camera. That's gonna work well. Although, if you have the money, if you have lots of money, you can buy the Sony a6600. That thing is new. So basically, all the feature in this camera plus image stabilization, that comes with the Sony a6600. Although it comes with a price, the body alone for the Sony a6600, that's gonna get you at 80,000 pesos. With a kit lens, expect to shell out 100K for that camera set. So it's really expensive. I'm not sure what Sony's doing. I don't know. So let me guys know what you think is the best camera for vlogging and photography. Hit me up in the comment section below, and if you like this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Alright, so expect an in-depth review for the Sony a6400 in the coming weeks. I can't wait to try prime lens to this. I'm gonna test it to its limits and all its capabilities. So make sure to hit that bell icon so you'll get notified once I uploaded that video. And also expect more tech reviews, PC building, and if I lose a little weight, I might throw in some travel videos as well. Alright, so thanks for watching guys. Peace!